I never believed love could come with terms and conditions, until the night everything fell apart. One accident, one random, cruel twist of fate, and suddenly, I wasn't the cherished daughter anymore. I was an inconvenience. My name is Sophia Martinez. 3 years ago, I was poised to inherit the reins of Martinez Industries, our family's crown jewel in tech manufacturing. MIT valedictorian, a rising star at a top consulting firm, groomed for COO before I was 30. I had done everything right. Then came the night that unspooled my future in a heartbeat. Driving home late after a strategy meeting, I was mentally reviewing quarterly forecasts when a drunk driver blew through a red light. The crash was violent, the kind that rewrites lives. I woke up in a hospital bed with my left leg in pieces, and a creeping sense that my golden trajectory had vanished. At first, my parents played the part of loving caregivers. My father, Richard, parked by my bedside each day, laptop open, rattling off performance metrics as if I were still seated at the boardroom table. My mother, Diana, floated in with fresh lilies and forced smiles, smoothing my blankets like it could undo the damage. But weeks passed, healing came slow, too slow for their liking. "The board meets next week," my father said one evening, voice clipped, eyes already on his inbox. "We can't hold your position open forever." I blinked at him, still dulled by the haze of medication. "Dad, the doctors said I'll recover completely. I just need time." He didn't flinch. "Time isn't a luxury we have. The company needs someone who can lead, now." Right on cue, Marcus strode in. Tailored suit, perfect posture, that effortless charisma he's coasted on since prep school. My younger brother, whose credentials wouldn't have passed a second glance if he bore any name but ours. "Relax, Soph," he said with that infuriating grin. "I'll hold down the fort." A week later, he was named COO. All my years of sacrifice, reduced to a resume footnote. My legacy, handed over because I had the bad manners to be broken when it was least convenient. But the deepest cut came 2 months later. I had just returned home, hobbling through rehab with a cane and clenched jaw. Sunday dinner, my mother's attempt at normalcy, was its usual brittle performance. Then, over dessert, my father set down his fork with surgical precision. "We need to talk about your role, Sophia. The company can't justify paying someone who's not operational." My mother didn't protest, just offered a tight, sympathetic smile. "It's really for the best, sweetheart. You should focus on your recovery," Marcus said, voice oozing false sympathy. "Besides, it's not like you can handle the workload now anyway." I tightened my grip on the cane. "So that's it? You're cutting me off completely?" "Don't be dramatic," my father sighed, as if my entire life's unraveling was a minor inconvenience. "We're being practical. Business is business." "And family?" My voice trembled, but I held his gaze. "Is that just business too?" My mother's expression hardened into something cold and clinical. "If you can't understand why this is necessary, then maybe you were never ready for the responsibility we gave you." Then my father dealt the final blow. "Until you prove yourself useful again, you're no longer part of this family's legacy. It's time you learn to stand on your own 2 feet." He glanced down, deliberately, at my cane. Figuratively speaking, of course. The irony wasn't lost on me. Pain lanced through my leg as I stood, but I kept my head high. "All right," I said quietly, "if that's how you want it." They probably expected me to beg, to fall apart, to cling to whatever scraps they threw me. Instead, I walked out of that house with nothing but my dignity, and a plan already taking shape. What they didn't know was that during my long months in the hospital, I hadn't wasted time. Between therapy sessions and sleepless nights, I'd been working, analyzing market trends, spotting vulnerabilities in Martinez Industries, mapping opportunities they were too arrogant to see. Most importantly, I'd been watching Phoenix Industries. Their CEO, James Chin, was nearing retirement. The company was undervalued, the board fractured. I saw potential, not just to compete, but to conquer. That night, back in my modest apartment, the only thing still in my name, I made a decision. If they wanted to treat me like an outsider, I'd show them what an outsider could do. I opened my laptop and began typing. "Dear Mr. Chin, I have a proposition that could not only secure Phoenix Industries' future, but redefine the industry itself." They had no idea the storm I was about to unleash. That single email sparked a chain reaction that would shake the foundations of everything they thought untouchable. Within the week, James and I met in a quiet cafe, far from the high-rise towers and boardrooms of our world. He listened as I laid out my vision, not just a competitive edge, but a revolution in how tech manufacturing could be done. "Your ideas are bold," he said, sipping his coffee, "but why should I trust you? You're a Martinez." I met his gaze without blinking. "Not anymore." They made that perfectly clear. I showed him my research, market gaps, inefficiencies, innovations, and most critically, the soft underbelly of Martinez Industries. The flaws only an insider would know. He leaned back, a slow smile forming. "I've been looking for someone like you, someone sharp, someone dangerous, someone with nothing left to lose." That meeting changed everything. Within months, I was named CEO of Phoenix Industries, under the alias SM Phoenix. To the outside world, I was a mystery. To the board, I was the force that would remake the company. And I did. I modernized our infrastructure, acquired forward-thinking startups, filed game-changing patents. Phoenix rose fast, quietly, powerfully. And Martinez never saw it coming. Behind the scenes, I watched Marcus fumble. His flashy leadership and reckless strategies bled money. My father, too stubborn to admit his mistake, kept covering for him. The company I'd once bled for was deteriorating, and they had no idea I was the one tightening the screws. Then came the opportunity one had been waiting for. Martinez Industries was hemorrhaging cash and needed a lifeline, a strategic partnership. Only one company fit the bill. Phoenix Industries. When the request for a meeting arrived, I didn't hesitate. On the day of the meeting, I arrived early at headquarters. As I prepared the conference room, my assistant Lisa hovered nearby. She knew the whole story. "You ready for this?" she asked. I looked at the Phoenix Industries logo shining behind me, then out the window at the skyline I now ruled from the shadows. I smiled. More than ever, I adjusted my designer suit, so far removed from the simple clothes I'd worn when my family cast me aside. "I've been ready for 3 years," I murmured to myself. At exactly 9 a.m., the Martinez delegation arrived. Through the security cameras, I saw my father stride in first, his trademark confidence on display, followed by Marcus and a few board members. They were escorted to the conference room, utterly unaware of the storm brewing within those walls. "Mr. Martinez," my assistant's voice came over the intercom, "the CEO will join you shortly." I stood outside the double doors, listening to Marcus's voice drift through the wood. "This should be easy. Phoenix needs this deal more than we do." I took a steadying breath and pushed the doors open. The room went dead silent. My father's face turned an ashen shade. Marcus's mouth hung open in shock. I walked slowly to the head of the table, each click of my heels echoing like a countdown. "Good morning, everyone," I said, calm but resolute. "I'm SM Phoenix, CEO of Phoenix Industries, though some of you may know me better as Sophia Martinez." This is impossible," Marcus stammered. I smiled, unflinching, pulling a folder from my briefcase. "Oh, it's very possible, and we have much to discuss regarding the future of both our companies." My father found his voice first, his tone sharp with disbelief. "Sophia, whatever game you think you're playing." "This is no game," I interrupted, cutting him off with cool precision. "This is business. Isn't that what you taught me? Business is business." I opened the folder and began distributing documents, the quiet rustle of papers the only sound. "Let's review Phoenix Industries' terms for this partnership. As you'll see, we're proposing a complete restructuring of Martinez Industries' management team." Marcus shot to his feet. "You can't do this, Dad. Tell her she can't do this." "Actually, I can," I said, voice unwavering. "Your company's stock has fallen 60% under your leadership, Marcus. The board is losing confidence. Without this deal, Martinez Industries will be bankrupt within 6 months. These numbers don't lie, even if our family did." My father's hands trembled as he scanned the documents. "These terms, they would give Phoenix controlling interest." "Correct," I replied, leaning forward. "In fact, through various shell companies, Phoenix already holds 15% of Martinez Industries shares. We've been quietly acquiring them while Marcus's blunders drove the price into freefall." The room exploded into chaos. Board members whispered frantically among themselves. Marcus looked sick. My father stared at me, disbelief washing over his face as he saw, for the first time, not his daughter, but a formidable adversary. You planned this, he said, his voice low and filled with horror. All of it. I met his gaze with unwavering resolve. I learned from the best, I said with a hint of irony. You taught me that family and business don't mix. Consider this my graduation project. The next 2 hours were intense, relentless back and forth, but I held all the cards. By the end of the meeting, the deal was struck. Phoenix Industries would absorb Martinez Industries. Marcus would be removed from his position. My father would retire, with a generous but ultimately meaningless honorary title. As the stunned board members filed out, my father lingered behind. Sophia, he began, his voice thick with regret. We were wrong. Yes, you were. I gathered my papers, not a shred of sympathy in my tone. But don't worry, unlike you, I won't let family ties cloud my business decisions. You'll be treated just like any other retired executive. He flinched at my words, the words he had once said to me, now turned back on him. Can we try to fix this, as a family? I paused, my mind flashing back to the night they cast me out, the harsh words, the years of silence. I have a board meeting to prepare for, I said finally, voice cold. My assistant will show you out. As the door closed behind him, I stood at the window of my office, my real office, not the one they'd promised me years ago. Below, I watched my father and brother walk to their car, shoulders hunched in defeat. My phone buzzed, a text from Lisa. Your next appointment is here, the one about expanding into international markets. I smiled. This was just the beginning. I had built something greater than Martinez Industries could ever be, and I had done it on my own terms. They say success is the best revenge. But they're wrong. Success is just the beginning. True revenge is making them watch as you surpass every limit they placed on you, every doubt they cast, every cruel word they spoke. I picked up my phone and typed a response to Lisa. Send them in, and cancel any future appointments from the Martinez family. I'm too busy building my legacy to deal with ghosts from the past. From my office window, I saw my father and brother in the parking lot, probably trying to piece together how everything had gone so wrong, but I no longer cared. I'd stopped looking back. My future was ahead of me, and it was brighter than they could ever have imagined. Sometimes, being cut off from your roots forces you to grow stronger than anyone ever expected. They thought they were ending my story that night at dinner. But really, they were just setting the stage for my greatest triumph. And this was only the beginning.